Kristi Noem, head of Homeland Security, doesn't seem to know what habeas corpus is. And I thought it was interesting. Let's listen to what this, her answers to a question in front of Congress that I thought was hilarious and sick and stupid and so on.
Secretary Noem, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff recently said that the Trump administration is actively looking at suspending habeas corpus. Last week you were asked about this, and I want to clarify your position because it's obviously really important to get this right. So Secretary Noem, what is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country.
She doesn't know what habeas corpus is. She seems to think that habeas corpus is the law by which Donald Trump is shipping immigrants, maybe illegal, out of the country to any place he wants to send them. That's not what habeas corpus is. I got a little historical thing, and I'll talk a little bit more about it. Habeas corpus first originated back in 1215 through the 39th clause of Magna Carta signed by King John, which provided no man shall be arrested or imprisoned except by the lawful judgment of his peers and by the law of the land. That's pretty general. But what is habeas corpus? It's very simple. If I'm walking down the street and a policeman says, I think you robbed that store, and he arrests me. Okay, if he has probable cause, he does have the right to do that. Then he can take me to jail. Now, first of all, you've taken away my freedom at that point. Now, this is a big deal. So generally, within this country anyway, within 72 hours, you have to go before a judge. And he has to decide whether there is reason to believe that you may have committed this crime, that there's evidence there. Doesn't convict you of anything, nothing like that. It just says, I think we do. Then a system comes in, there's bail. Bail can be denied in certain cases, but generally bail is not denied because taking away your freedom is a gigantic deal. That's the corpus in habeas corpus. You took my body and put it in prison. See, so many times kings and other officials would just simply, I don't like this guy. He's doing business in competition with my business, and so I'm going to get rid of him. So you throw him in jail, and that's it. So that's what habeas corpus is about. Now, she's asked this question, and she's, Trump is sending... No, it isn't. It's a suspension of habeas corpus is what's going on there. You're actually suspending someone's rights. Now, that's a big deal. And I think Abraham Lincoln did it during the Civil War, but he also had it approved by Congress. Congress had to approve this. Now, he did it in, I guess, an executive order, but then Congress had to approve it or it was gone. So that's what habeas corpus is. It's one of the most important freedoms that we have. And she doesn't understand what it even is. So I got to looking back a little bit about her, and she put something in there that I thought was really funny. Maybe more, this is after this congressional thing, maybe more Americans would know the meaning of habeas corpus if schools would teach them about the glorious government instead of pronouns, DEI, and woke nonsense. Glorious government? Now, the last thing I'm going to ever say about my government is glorious. I disagree with a bunch of stuff. That glorious government? That's North Korea, for Christ's sake. This is what we have in Homeland Security, which is probably the iffiest cabinet position there is, because it has the power to do things to people that you should not be able to do. And I understand we were doing this with terrorists and stuff, and I really still don't think it should have been suspended for anything, but it was in the Civil War. It wasn't, it hasn't been since, but Homeland Security is kind of on the edge of that. So another thing I saw, and she really got her butt nailed on this one. She's playing with the ICE guys. You know, they have guns they get to play with, fun guns with cool little devices on them, flashlights and scopes and so on. And she's holding the most sophisticated one she can find. She has no idea how to hold it. It isn't even really held right. The guy next to him, who is kind of better, although he's showing how cool he is too. But she's pointing the gun really close to his face. If that gun went off, he'd at least lose his sunglasses or maybe his brain. We really don't hold weapons that way much anymore. When I was in the Army, we hold them port arms, and that's what that kind of is. But they don't do that. They point it down now. It just tells me she really has no idea what she's doing, and she's saying, well, we're going to go out and get these guys. You really want that woman going into a dangerous situation? She has no idea what she's doing there. She'd get herself killed or somebody else. The only thing I'll say about that little picture is at least she didn't have her finger on the trigger. I'm not sure she knows what a trigger is. Anyway, she was government of South Dakota. I'm not sure anybody lives there, but I think it's just oil wells, isn't it? Yeah, anyway, just messing with you. That's in this one.